Welcome back to our podcast, High Flyers in STEM, where greatness has no gender. And we shine a light on women making an impact. Joining us from Freudenberg Medical are two inspiring leaders, Linda Greaney, Growth Manager for Operational Excellence, and Síle O'Connell, Production Unit Leader. Linda takes us through her journey from plant accountant to Master Black Belt in Lean Six Sigma, showing how support, mentorship and resilience can open unexpected doors. Síle shares her career path from production operator to manager, reflecting on the power of communication, self-belief and the importance of lifting others as you rise. Once again, thank you to our sponsors Finero, a multi-award-winning company that specialises in financial success for contractor, freelancers and solopreneurs. Together, Linda and Síle remind us that STEM careers are not linear. They're like branches of a tree, full of possibilities. Welcome to the show, ladies. Linda and Síle, thanks so much for coming to be guests on Greatness Has No Gender. This is the last of the series and we're delighted to have Freudenberg as part of it. I suppose we always start with kind of having a quick chat and getting to know a little bit about your journey and what has got you into STEM. I know some people decide at a very young age, this is what I want, and other people stumble into it by chance. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your story. If we start with you, Linda, tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so my story, I suppose, started around when I was studying for my Leaving Cert and trying to pick what I wanted to do or put onto that CAO form. And I suppose I was really stuck at the time, couldn't really pick anything. And then I really went back to basics and thought, what am I actually good at? So maths for me was always a thing that was easy. I never had to try too hard. So then I said, right, let's go with maths. And then I was like, well, what can I do with maths? And I suppose it's interesting now how everything has changed, that STEM careers are so publicised now, whereas back 20 years ago when I was doing my Leaving Cert, it wasn't really. So I thought to myself, what can I do with maths? And accountancy is what I came up with myself in my own head. Because I went to an all-girls school. So in an all-girls school, engineering wasn't really publicised heavily either. So I went down the accountancy route. I went to Athlone IT at the time, had a great time there, got my Bachelor of Arts in Accounting. And I then went on to study the professional accountancy exams. And then I got my first job as a financial analyst and worked in finance for quite a number of years there, working my way right up to plant accountant. And then after a number of years, like I think how careers go, you start to branch into other fields. And then I moved into continuous improvement using my finance background there, which has brought me very close to where I am today.
Síle, how about you? Was it a very different journey to Linda's, or?
It was. So
okay.
After my Leaving Cert, I went into childcare. So
the hardest
totally
job in the world.
Very difficult. I know when I was growing up, I was always interested in like technology and how things were working. But I think when I was going into college kind of thing, I just didn't think I was able for the math side of it or computers and that kind of thing. So I had always been interested in childcare, so I did that for a few years. And then I went travelling for 2 years. I came back and I went back into childcare and I was like, I think I want to make a change. So I went another 6 months travelling, and when I came back, I started working as a product builder.
Okay.
So my journey went from there. It was product builder, team lead and then a supervisor. I was there for 6 years and then I moved to Freudenberg Medical, which was then Campus Medical. So I went there as a group lead. Excuse me. I went there as a group lead, and then I think after about 6 months I made a senior group lead, and after another year or so in the role I'm in now is production unit lead. So it kind of wasn't a career I thought I was going to go into, but when I was in it I really enjoyed it. As you said, like there's lots of different departments that you're working with, and yeah, like continuous improvement, customer ops, quality. So the role I'm in now I think suits me. It's a lot of management as well, but you're working with a lot of different departments. So
yes,
it was kind of a role I fell into. As I mentioned, I didn't think I was very good at maths, but I ended up doing a business degree, which Freudenberg helped me pay for with the educational support there. So
brilliant. Okay, great. And you must be really good with people, you know, to to start on the, we'll ask them that, will we? But
Hope so, yeah.
no, to progress the way you did from one company to the other and go back and study full time, it's not easy. But when you find something you like, you've probably really enjoyed that challenge.
Yeah, and it was good. And when you have the right support there as well, you know, it makes it a lot easier when people believe in you. So.
Okay, great. Brilliant. I suppose when you look back at both of you have spoken about different experiences, who's been the guiding light or someone that has really kind of maybe elevated you both in your career to date? Was there anyone that would stand out to you, or any moment maybe?
Yeah, I do think about that a lot myself. And funnily enough, I do always come back to, I think it was my husband. He always is the one in the background pushing me on and saying, his famous words to be, great things will come of you. And that has always been it. And I suppose he pushed me, to get my accountancy qualification. He kept pushing me on when maybe at times I was happy to sit back. But he kept, the little pat on my back. But I think as your career moves and as you're getting older, some of them influences change as well. Because I have to say, since starting at Freudenberg Medical, my boss and mentor, Barry Regan, has really been the guiding light, pushing me on, always kind of pushing me in the right direction, guiding me there as well. So it's funny, I always thought it was my husband, but you can see it changes over time as well.
Yeah, and you probably get comfortable in your ability nearly from once he did his part to get you qualified.
Exactly.
You know.
And then I think after a while absolutely my husband is brilliant, but sometimes you mightn't fully believe what he's telling you. You know, you are great, you can do this, and you're like, you don't work with
job.
me, you know, you don't know what I'm capable of. But then when you actually have your own manager pushing you forward, saying that, I'm very impressed by you, I can see that your path, you're doing amazing work, keep it up, Linda. You know, at that point you can see that there's an external person that doesn't have to have loyalties to you, pushing you forward. That's another great asset for any person, man or woman. To have pushing them through their career is fantastic.
Yeah, when a colleague backs you,
exactly.
As you said, they don't have to. It's there, and that's really good to see that they see something in you that adds value, which is great. How about you, Síle? Any one particular or any moment?
When I had a value stream manager, so when I was a team lead, he, was pushing me to do green belts, go to college, and I was like, no, I don't think I want to. And I remember one day he called me to his office and he was like, we're going to do a SWOT analysis. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? So we sat down and we did it, and I was like, okay, I see where he's going here. But he was always encouraging me and like teaching me lots of new things. And then when I moved to Freudenberg, Elaine Higgins was in production, and she had been in quality and continuous improvement. So I learned a whole lot from her, and I think she really helped me when I first got there, and she believed in me. So yeah, I think there's lots of different people along the way.
And seeing someone in the position that you can see in your future is
develop
great to be
into.
able to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, as you said, seeing that position there and seeing where I am now to where I get to, and having that mentorship is really helps you grow in your journey, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, great. When we talk about leadership, Linda, you shifted from finance to operational excellence. That was, a big shift. I can see the similarities and why it would work, but what drove that decision? And what did it take to kind of manage that transition for you?
So I think careers and jobs have changed, in the last 20 years a lot. That when you start in finance, traditionally you think, I'm doing finance all day, every day. But I was lucky enough in my role as a financial analyst that I was put onto yellow belt training, which is actually part of an operational excellence program. So that was my first introduction to continuous improvement and lean in an office area, and it kind of opened my eyes to all the opportunities that exist. So rather than accepting that waste exists or accepting that this is just how things are done, it gave me, I suppose, the thought process to start challenging the status quo and challenge things. So I successfully achieved my yellow belt certification in, I'm going to say maybe 2012 or 2013. And that really sparked my interest. And around 2015, I was getting slightly bored in finance. It was the same routine every day in, day out, and out of nowhere, this job rec came up through my internal emails saying that there was an opportunity for a business excellence specialist, and I said maybe I should go for this. I think this is something I'd like, and I'll be honest, I didn't think I would get chosen purely because I'm a finance person. I didn't have an operations background. I didn't have any of the core skills that somebody might want in that role. But thankfully, I put myself forward. I put my best foot forward as well, and I was accepted into the role. And as part of that, I suppose I continued my learning and development. I got my Green Belt certification, and then I went back to UL and done a master's in quality management in Lean Six Sigma. So that, I suppose, was really what elevated me to a new level of learning and education, which has made me stick to continuous improvement. And we have the option of a 4-day working week whereby you can make your holidays stretch and go longer. So rather than taking a day's annual leave on Friday, you can work your hours up in the 4 days to save your annual leave. So that's one really nice thing I think we have. But one thing I really like where in our sites is we have so many different nationalities there. I think in Carrick alone and in Spiddle similar, we have 52 different nationalities working between Carrick and Spiddle, which is a phenomenal number of different languages spoken. And cultures mixing. So when you talk about diversity and inclusion, all them different cultures coming together, you learn something from each other. I talked about synergy before. Even the synergies of having them different cultures and mindsets and attitudes is a great benefit to businesses. And I like that there's so many young people coming. We have a lot of similar to Sheila's experience and journey, that we have some people that started off as operators, showed a real interest in engineering. We have Freudenberg has partnered with a lot of local colleges and universities that we're actually sending our employees back to college to get that education, to get the engineering degrees, whatever that is that they wish, to really make them successful, and then we're all successful together. You know? And it comes back to that long-term orientation as well, people and our customer focus. It's very important.
Hire for attitude, train for skill. Do you know,
exactly,
the person was there and you gained the skills even after getting the job, knowing that you could do it.
Absolutely. And that's something I always say as well, that we can train anybody to do anything, but once somebody has the right attitude and the right approach, they'll go very, very far. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the right attitude, you're limiting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think I see it in every walk of life. You talk about STEM and finance and childcare, but it's people, and it's the ability and the want to learn and develop is who you back all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And just, I suppose, Síle, you progressed from product builder to production unit leader. Your own mindset had to be a huge part of helping you kind of move through the ranks in the two companies that you've been with.
Yeah, I think when I started, when I was working on the line, it was all target driven. So I tried to motivate myself by beating the target to see what I could do. Because, sometimes when you're sitting there all day, you're like, you have to have something to set your mind to. So I think it just became setting my mind to little things like, can I learn this new skill? How can I progress? And then seeing, especially I know in Freudenberg, in the Galway side, I think it's 55% of the leadership team are all female. So seeing that there's always something there that you can aspire to be, go to management or whatever it might be. So I think for me, work-life balance is very important. So I work a 4-day week, 3-day weekend. Bank holiday weekend is 4 days, so it's really nice. So that definitely allows flexibility. I think that does motivate you when you're seeing people in the role and you're like, I could be here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you feel like as a leader you had to find your voice, or was there times when you doubted yourself? Or
all the time? Yeah, all the time. I know when I first went for a team lead role, I didn't get it the first time, and I think that was the first time I hadn't gotten a job, and that really kind of was like a bit of a setback, because I was like, why didn't I get it? I thought I was ready for it. And that was just kind of keep it in your mind. You can still do it. It might just take a little bit longer, kind of thing.
And did you get feedback as to why you didn't get it that time?
Yeah, I think it was just somebody else had been in the company a little bit longer. and she was given the chance, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. So you knew it was coming. It was
Yeah.
still there for you. And as you said, that putting the self-doubt to the back of your mind and say, no, my next opportunity is mine.
Yeah. And I think sometimes I have to be very confident that I can do the job before I'll apply for it. And I know we were talking earlier about imposter syndrome, I'm like, oh, maybe I won't apply for that because I don't know if I'm ready for it, when realistically I probably am. It's just making yourself come out of your comfort zone and go for it.
I think giving yourself the push is the hardest part. Once you kind of, I suppose, rewire the brain to say, I can do it, then that's half the battle, isn't it? What goes on?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, super. The next generation of STEM leaders, like, they're going to face so many more challenges that we probably don't even anticipate. When you think back, Linda, you speak about 20 years ago, and, now and in 20 years' time again, like, how do you think, or what qualities would I say do you think the younger generation need to develop to become leaders now?
Yeah, I think we'll say, we talk about the pace of change and everything changes so fast, but I think the core qualities you need, they probably won't change. So for me, it's generally resilience and being really, strong enough to be brave enough to be open to the change that's coming, to embrace it as it comes. And you might know the answers, you mightn't know what the next steps are, but at least try, because when you try and try and try, it's better than sitting there and doing nothing. Along that, combined with teamwork and synergies, I think, Síle, you already talked about the cross-functional teams. When you have some engineers, you have finance, you have quality, you have all these people working together. As I learned in business studies, synergy, 2 + 2 = 5. When you have a lot of people with great minds all together, you will be able to face those challenges together through teamwork. It's very difficult to overcome a major obstacle on your own. So for me, resilience and teamwork will fight any battle every day of the week.
Do you agree, Síle?
I do, yeah. I think, and I just add to that, is communication. I think
agreed, yes.
It's very important to be able to communicate what you want or what you need, especially in a team. If something's not said, something's going to fall through the cracks. So, yeah, I think that's the main ones for me as well.
Yeah.
I was thinking that in the drive up this morning, and I was just thinking, okay, look how much has changed in 20 years. If someone told us, so I know the pace of change is increasing all the time, but as you said, those core qualities, the people side of it, I don't think will ever go away, no matter how strong AI gets.
Yeah.
What's the one area in your life that's you're currently focused on improvements, and have you taken any steps that you can share with us in that?
Yeah, I think leadership is my main one at the moment. So I've been lucky enough to do some Freudenberg training, leadership training. I started that this year. We spent a week in Frankfurt. I've just done an online module, and I have another week in November. So that's been really nice. It's like the first leadership development program. So it's the whole of the Freudenberg group. It's not just medical. So it's been really interesting to meet people from like so many different countries that Freudenberg is in. We have people from Greece, from obviously from Germany. There's lots of different places, and it's been interesting to see how they deal with leadership challenges in their day to day, because there's people from finance, sales. So I've been trying to do that, and through leadership then to help progress people through the company. So I think, looking from my point of view, Freudenberg Goy especially has been really good to me with being able to progress. So I want to be able to progress the people on my team. And I think when I counted, it was 6 out of the 7 people in my team now have been progressed internally. So there's like great progression and opportunities through there. So if I can help with that, that's what I want to be improving on, I think.
I love that when you talk about leadership, you're not just talking about your own, you're like how my leadership can help other people progress.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's key, isn't it? That progression planning for the company, and that looking at the opportunities you can give to other people and identifying something in them that someone did for you all those years ago, and helping them grow with the company. It's a really good feeling, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that's how I suppose things has changed as well, that the role of a leader has changed, that you're leading people to do their job, but also you're leading future leaders as well, and trying to develop your own talent succession planning as well is very important in businesses as well, so that you're not losing that talent. Everything that we're building internally, we're trying to hold on to it. You know, Freudenberg, we have our guiding principles. And one core one that I really like is long-term orientation. So it's pretty much that there's a job here for you for life if you want it. We are so varied in Freudenberg. We have so many, as Síle just mentioned, we have so many different divisions, brands out there. So we're the medical side, but there is probably another 30, 40 business segments there, that there's a huge network open to us all, and we can diversify across any one of those business units should we choose to.
Yeah, so it's not just that one job for life. You can get so much exposure within one company.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, super. When we talk about kind of challenges and self-doubt, some of our biggest lessons come from something that didn't go right at that moment in your journey. Can you think of an example of something like that, Linda?
I think every day something doesn't go right for me, if I'm fully honest. But, you know, I think it's nice when things go very, very well, but ultimately, and I even talk to my own team, it's only when things are challenging and hard we truly actually learn and grow and learn something from it. Because when things are easy, we're just, you know, we're riding the wave. Things are good. It's when things are really, really hard. Examples like when we do a Kaizen event and change, and there's a lot of change that comes out of a Kaizen event, trying to manage that change, people's expectations, operators' jobs might, and the specific role they're doing might have to slightly tweak or change. You talked about daily targets, Síle, that also could change for an operator, and trying to manage all of that at the same time. It is very hard, it's very difficult, but maintaining, I suppose, your calmness, your decorum, so that nobody else feels the pressure, that you can just ride the wave quite easily. And when you come out the end of it, the business has had a major success and you've just learned a few new skills. Nothing that you thought you were going to learn, but there's little ticks there all the time.
Tell me a time when something really went wrong for you.
Oh gosh. I suppose, listen, I have lots of examples, but nothing that went majorly wrong. I suppose internally I'm able to manage pressure quite well. Ask me how I do it, I don't know. I think I put pressure into different boxes, and I know when to open the box and when to maybe push the box down slightly. But I suppose when I first started in Freudenberg, there was one product line we were trying to ramp up at the time, and it was my first Kaizen and I was excited, and I'll be honest, it was a blip. It didn't go well at all. But what I did learn from it is that mistakes happen. Mistakes are okay. And it's how you react to them and how you overcome them. So maybe the Kaizen wasn't as good as it should have been, but I learned what not to do the next time. I learned to follow through on actions, make sure actions get correctly completed and implemented as well. And probably one key thing I've learned in all my years in Freudenberg in particular is you can do all the problem solving in the world, you can do all the planning in the world, but if you don't execute well, it was a waste of time doing any of your planning in the first place. So the execution is, you could know the root cause to the problem. Could be that, I don't know, there's no lid on the bottle of water and that's why it fell over. But if we don't actually implement something successfully, the next bottle of water is going to fall over as well.
Yeah, I think that's great, as you said. It's true. Like, you can plan for every eventuality. Something's going to go wrong, but what did you learn from that you did differently next time? And
exactly,
you know, that's learning then, isn't it? That's growth.
And I think when you're new in a job as well, you feel that I should know everything, I should have all the answers, exactly what you said, Síle, but ultimately you don't know, and mistakes is part of that learning, development and growth, and being able to make the mistakes and learn and reflect upon them yourself. I think leadership now, reflection is very, very important, that you're reflecting on how could this situation have went differently? How could I have conducted myself differently? And then you're constantly trying to coach yourself and nearly mentor yourself with reflection, which is very important too.
And I think it's important for your team to see that not everything goes right all the time, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, that as a leader, things can go wrong, but, you know, what do we sit down? What, as you said, what did we learn? What did we, you know, how did we grow with this, and what will we do differently next time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Síle? Anything?
I don't think anything major, but as I mentioned before, when I went for the team lead role and I didn't get it, I was like, oh no. But I think that helped to just push me on and motivate me a bit more. I think through working Freudenberg, I think the main challenges, and it hasn't been anything major, but in 2023, you know, we doubled the manufacturing area and we announced 100 jobs. So it was trying to get people to fill those roles quickly when you're ramping up. So that, you know, there's a lot of interviewing, and how do you manage the staff levels when you don't have people, and you know, there's a lot of planning and that kind of thing. But again, it's all teamwork. You're working with the planning department, HR. I think in production things go wrong all of the time, so you have to be ready to just go with plan B, plan C. So yeah, there's lots of that, but it's just how you manage it, as you said. You know, you're learning every time. It's, don't panic, you're going to get through it, it'll be fine.
Trusting yourself and your team, it's a huge part of it. Yeah.
And you have the experience, so just, you know, you can do it.
Absolutely. It kind of brings us nicely into kind of when you talk about impact and kind of pride in something that you've done. And we think about, you know, leadership and influence can show up in unexpected ways sometimes. Can you share a moment where you realised that your impact was maybe bigger than what you thought it would be?
I think the most recent thing that happened to me is I was on annual leave, and when I came back, one of the senior engineers had left the company. She had to go home to New Zealand, so I didn't get to say goodbye to her, but she had left a card on my desk, and she had like some really nice things in there, and just about how I dealt with things and all of that. And I just thought it was really nice, and I didn't realise that anyone else had noticed that. And again, just working with the team day to day, when I see them progressing, you know, when you delegate tasks and you say, okay, well, they can actually handle that fine without me. Like, you know that you've brought them this far and they're good enough to bring themselves further, kind of thing. So yeah, I think for me, just seeing the impact on the team and how they progress, I'm like, okay, yeah, we're doing a good job here.
Do you want to jump in there, Linda? Is there anything that you can think of?
I suppose my influence, shows up in unexpected ways. Probably maybe when you're walking the factory floor and somebody that you really weren't expecting, it could be an engineer or somebody else, just comes and says, Hi Linda, can you come over here for a second? We really need some help. And it could be something that, I don't know, an airline or something isn't working. You know, obviously the continuous improvement manager isn't going to be able to fix it, but that they know that, you know, you're potentially somebody of authority that can actually help them, that can break down some barriers for them to help them succeed or be successful in their own day-to-day job as well. I don't know if, similar to Síle, I don't know if there's any one thing. Similarly, we do a lot of green belt training, black belt training internally on site, and sometimes after the training event, or when somebody has got certified. Actually last Christmas, a girl, she was Spanish and she brought me in Spanish chocolates and everything, and she was like, thank you so much for all of your help and support. And I was like, gosh, I probably should have given her more because she valued it so much. But you know, you do see unexpected things that just show up, you know.
I love that the lead engineer left you a card as well. I just think, you know, it kind of makes you think I should do that more often myself. You know, those little things that mean way more than some big announcements sometimes, don't they?
Exactly. And I think when we're talking about influence, it's this tiny bits of, maybe the major bits of influence you have on somebody's day or their life, but you don't actually realize it yourself, you know. So I think when we talked about the human-centric piece earlier, that's why it's so important to always, I suppose, lead with humility, always not think you're better than anybody else, and talk to everybody, you know, that they're an equal to me, so that, you know, that your influence is really valued when you give it, and that they want it.
And they're not afraid to approach you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that's really good. What would you tell your younger self now? What did she need to hear?
you can do it. You are better than you think. You are braver than you think, and you can achieve anything you set your mind to. I was very, very shy as a child. I grew up in a very traditional family where children should be seen and not heard, and that sort of a mindset. But I definitely was very, very shy. I had no confidence. And so between probably my mother egging me on a bit and my husband, as I said, they helped me find my voice, find my confidence. And like, to be honest, the world is my oyster. There's nothing I think I can't achieve if I wanted. I won't say it to be president in the morning. But there's nothing you can't achieve when you really set your mind to it. When you go about it the right way with the best attitude, there's nothing that will ever stand in anybody's way. That is my true belief.
I'm recording that and bringing it home to my kids. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's true.
It is true. Well, yeah. Síle, what about you?
Yeah, probably the same, to be honest. I used to be very shy. But I think just having more confidence, being a bit more open, I think I've learned that through the years. Just, accept the help. People want to help. And sometimes you have to do the uncomfortable things. You have to push yourself outside your comfort zone. So like I never expected that I was going to be working in a medical device factory that like we provide minimally invasive catheters. I didn't think, I'd have a hand in helping save people's lives basically, from working on the line and all the way up. So it's just, allow yourself to be pushed a little bit and don't be so uncomfortable.
Brilliant. What advice would you give to someone thinking about pursuing a career in STEM?
So for me, I would say STEM is so broad, and as I suppose my own career, Síle's is the same. It's not the linear path or the ladder that it used to look like, 20, 30 years ago, that it's like a tree, that there's many branches to what STEM can be, that if you choose to go in as engineering, you could become an engineering manager, you could be an operations manager. It's really unlimited. And I think in Ireland at the moment, we're blessed with the amount of medical companies, let it be pharma, life sciences, med tech, that all of them that are actually in Ireland, and the community and the networking, we have the Lean Enterprise Networks, we have, the ICBE, we have all these other groups that are trying to get the companies all talking to knowledge share as well. So there's lots of avenues for anybody thinking about entering a STEM career, and the possibilities is endless. It's not going away either, medical device, unfortunately people are always sick, we make medical catheters that, I think is it one person every minute is treated with a Freudenberg Medical catheter, which is nice to know at the end of each hour, 60 patients has been treated because of our hard work and dedication coming to work every day. It could be your mother, your brother, your sisters, your friends, and so it is nice to see that there's a patient at the end of everything we do, and we do make a difference.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think what you said about there are so many avenues into what you want to do now. And I think don't be afraid if by 18 you don't know what you want to do, or by, you think back to kids starting secondary school now, they're picking subjects.
Yeah, at 18, I don't think you'll ever know what you want to do, because you haven't got enough life experience to know that. And that's why I explained it kind of like a tree, that you'll start off on one little avenue and it'll branch off and veer off in another direction, and then it'll change again. I'm in continuous improvement now for probably 8 years now, I'd say. In another 8 years, will I be in continuous improvement? Will I be somewhere else? Maybe, I don't know. But wherever the path takes me, that's the path or the direction I'll be going, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, there's so many opportunities that your career can change at any time. You can, there's so many roles that you can apply for there, and you can put your skills into anything. So, as I said, I started with childcare. I never thought I'd be working,
saving lives in a different way.
We'll go with that. I never thought that would be what I'd end up doing. As I said, I hated maths. I went and did a business degree. Things change all the time, and the opportunities definitely are there. So I think you don't have to decide right now.
No. And I think going back to what you said about what would you say to your younger self, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. There's so many opportunities. Yeah, and that's what's brilliant about the market now.
Exactly.
And we have to remember that not everyone has the opportunity straight out of school to go to college for 4 years as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, so it's lovely that in time, with that flexibility, with identifying future leaders and education, that it can be provided through work.
Exactly. And I think coming back to when you're 18 years old, how on earth are you going to know what you want to be for the rest of your life, you know? Yeah. So having the option through the company and your workplace to actually upskill yourself and actually get a real good qualification and learn on the job as well is it's invaluable.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of High Flyers in STEM. A special thanks to Linda Greaney and Síle O'Connell for sharing their stories of growth, resilience and leadership at Freudenberg Medical. If you found today's conversation valuable, make sure to subscribe, share this episode with your network and help us to continue spreading the message that greatness has no gender. Thanks to our sponsors Finero, and tune in next week as we sit down with Coca-Cola's Mary McGrath and Adriana Vindas to talk about authenticity, resilience and shaping the future of sustainability. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing and flying high in STEM.